Hi, Jamelyn.
Hi, Kim.
We're back.
We're back. And we have some Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. You know, it's a little tree, but she's pretty.
And we are merry and bright.
We are
That's
merry and bright.
important
I am
part.
definitely more merry and bright this week than I was last week.
Yeah. Getting close.
It is getting close. I did a little stocking shopping last night, so I got a few little things. I think I could spend $1 million just buying little things to put in the stockings.
Yeah. And bigger stockings included, right? Because you keep buying things to put in the stockings.
Yeah. I mean, do we really all need new deck of cards every year? But I kind of think we do.
Well, maybe. Depends on how often you use the cards.
Do you play a lot of cards at your house?
I play solitaire on my phone.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't count.
Yeah, no. But you know what? I did do? So, on vacation, we played Scrabble with my brother-in-law and his wife, and it was so fun. And I was reminded of the Scrabble game that I had that was deluxe, and it turned.
It turns.
So you didn't have to take the board and turn it around.
Yeah.
And so I Googled that. It was the 1977 version, deluxe, and it was on Amazon for a meager $268.
Whoa.
So, yeah, no, that's not happening. So I Googled more, went to eBay, made my first bid, and I'm going to bring the game when it comes.
We should have a game of Scrabble that we just have it just keeps going.
All right, okay.
Each week.
I'll bring it when it arrives, which is supposed to be next week. Hopefully it's in pretty good condition. I've never bought anything off of eBay, but I'm super excited that I'm getting this deluxe
Scrabble game different than if I just went to Target and bought it?
Well, it's from 1977. It's vintage.
Oh, okay.
And it's super cool. Like the tiles sit in little squares so they don't move around.
Yeah, I can't be having to move around.
No, and I can turn the board to you so I don't have to.
And that's how it was originally made?
Yes.
I'm showing my age a little bit. I'm not sure which one of us is showing your age.
I think I am. For sure. It was probably 1999 and 1977, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm excited to get it.
Well, we play a lot of cards at our house, and the church has a euchre night this Thursday. I think it's this Thursday. And Nathan, my son, and I are going to be partners.
Oh, cool.
We're going to come and play.
Cool.
Pretty excited.
I have to remember that. I used to know how to play that game. But
Yeah.
stocking stuffers I don't know that you can have too many.
No, and then, you have to put little treats in there, too. So.
Do you have your shopping finished?
Almost.
Okay.
Almost. Not quite, but almost.
Right. I need
How's that for a very vague answer? Do you?
I'm not sure. Isn't that sad? Like, I need to make the list and check. I have things, and I'm not sure that I've taken care of everyone, but almost, I think.
Well, you have 3 grandbabies to buy for now. Do you go overboard, or you do?
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like Violet showed me the dress that she liked, and I wasn't sure, so I had to kind of sneak and ask her, is this the one? And she saw another one that she liked also better.
Nice. Sounds like her
who
grandmother.
wants to open a box and not be super excited?
Right.
No one, so she has both dresses.
Well, I have a goddaughter who's going to be 3 in May, and if her mother would allow me so, I would buy that child every single thing I wanted to.
Everything she sees, right?
But Jessica's kind of strict with me on how much I can spoil her.
Yeah. I mean, can you really spoil a 3-year-old too much? I don't know. Yeah.
But I have to stay in her good graces if I want to keep seeing my little baby. So Dave and I went out of town earlier this week.
Oh.
We ran down to Nashville, Tennessee to see the Behold the Lamb Christmas concert that Andrew Peterson does every year with his friends. He wrote this, and he wrote this piece of music, composed it. It's all the songs starting with basically kind of starting around Moses and going through Jesus's birth. And it's all these different songs. And Dave and I have been for years, it's every year. This was like the 22nd year.
Okay.
So we took his mom. But if you guys are looking for like a really cool Christmas concert experience, I think they're going to have the live stream for you to purchase, and then you can have it playing. So it's Andrew Peterson. Maybe we'll have a link in John. John says we will have a link, and it's called "Behold the Lamb of God," and you can get it on Apple.
That would be
Music.
cool to be playing in the background,
Yes.
like, on Christmas Eve or Christmas.
And there's a song about Mary's birth that just brings me to tears every time.
I want to check that out.
So it's beautiful. So we went and did that Monday night and got to see his brother and had dinner with his mom. We took his mom with us, and
Nice.
so it's been a quick. And then Sunday I wasn't at church. I was representing Zami Fondois. We were at St. Luke's United Methodist in Indianapolis, where Kim and I met each other.
That's right.
For the first time when our love affair began.
That's right.
And we were in their art gallery that they have. And we had all of our Haitian art up there, and it looked gorgeous. And sold some of our cool ornaments that we have. And so...
And is your art still there?
It is. It'll be there through the month of December.
And it's for sale, correct?
It isn't for sale. Some of it's priceless. Like well, especially because we can't travel to Haiti right now.
That's true.
And so I said I would be willing to sell it for the price of a house, which is $30,000.
Okay.
But people buy art all the
they
time.
do.
But it would have to be for $30,000. I mean, there's a piece up there that I bought for Dave for his 40th birthday that it was made by an artist that has not done anything. It's really abstract, and so it would be hard to find to replicate that.
Yeah.
But so I missed the sermon on Sunday, but got caught up thanks to media, which was a little bit awkward when I was listening to the sermon. So I'm not sure how to. I'm sure you will help us tie all that together.
I'm going to try. I mean, I can totally get on Pastor Seth's side with how social media impedes our ability to be in real relationship with each other, right? Because it's a both and I don't know how we go back at this point. I don't know how we don't use it. And I think, all things can be used for good or ill. So, yeah.
I was thinking about this because I was trying to compare it to an invention in the past that had to do with communication. So, like, the only thing I could think of is, like, maybe people quit visiting face-to-face so much when the phone was invented.
Oh, maybe.
Because I know people say, well, the problem with social media is it doesn't teach us how to be around each other physically, like face-to-face.
Right.
I heard years ago Amy Poehler, who's one of my favorite comedians, tell a really funny joke. She said that the generation that grew up with social media, that when they go to college, instead, like, we took Communications 101, which was, you stood up, gave a speech in front of a class. She said their Communications 101 would be how to make eye contact, which I always thought was so funny.
Yep.
And kind of true.
Yeah, it is kind of true.
So I was trying to think, though, like, did people say, well, because I remember, like, my dad talking about always going to visit his grandfather on Sundays, like, in that people visited on Sundays.
Yeah.
During their Sabbath. Did they stop doing a lot of that visiting when they were on the phone?
I wonder, things used to be closed on Sunday. And I wonder how things opening up on Sunday correlates with different ways of communicating, or, there being the phone.
Not as much visits when people are going to the movies. That's Bishop Willimon tells a story. He grew up in rural South Carolina, and he tells a story of how he remembers the day the world changed was when he and his friends skipped United Methodist Youth Fellowship on Sunday afternoon to go to the local movie theater.
Oh, because it
opened on Sundays. All their parents thought they were at UMYF, but they went to go see, a movie, Elvis or somebody. I don't know who they went to go see.
Did you, in elementary school, ever have a pen pal?
Well, I know the world out there is going to be shocked to hear this. I always picked up pen pals on vacations.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me.
No, not at all, right?
No.
And, but yes, I did. So for our younger listeners, a pen pal would be someone that you would sort of make a promise that you'd write each other back and forth. I think one of the best examples of that is the movie that makes me sob each time, Beaches.
Oh, yeah.
Where the two girls met as children, and then they wrote back and forth, and then eventually became best friends through letter writing.
Yeah. I wrote lots of letters, and I know my aunt used to always write us a poem inside our birthday card. And
I gotta up my aunt thing.
Oh, that's
Mine would
right.
be roses are red, violets are blue. Your dad thinks he's better than me. He's wrong. Is that a poem?
Yeah, of course. It doesn't have to rhyme. Rhyming's not necessary. But letters, like love letters to your beloved in like high school and junior high.
Well, the other thing I've told my kids is we used to write notes to each other and pass them in the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
And the notes, too, would say, do you like me? Yes, no, maybe, circle one. And Nathan, my 7th grader, thinks that's the most hysterical and ridiculous thing.
It's true,
He's
though.
like, you did not do that. I said, how else were we going to know?
Yeah, no. And then you would fold them like in a little triangle.
And be able to tuck them in.
Yeah,
Heck
exactly.
yeah. Now they text
flick
each
'em.
other in class.
I know. And we used to get in trouble for if you
Oh.
got caught passing a note. Yeah.
Yeah. These are all things, though, that were not media related. As we're sitting here talking,
Right.
I'm realizing. But, you know, I think probably like a lot of people during the quarantine time when everyone had to stay home, I was going through old boxes and this, that, and the other. And I am very much a pack rat when it comes to memories. So I have kept all these pictures, but I then came across shoe boxes of all of my mail I got while I was in college.
That's awesome that you saved it.
Cards, letters, which serve as a historical piece now. So I've kept them. I've given them to some of my friends who mailed them to me because it's really saying what was going on in their life at that time.
Yeah, that's true.
It's been really fun.
That is.
I remember getting email in college my junior or senior year. I went to a tiny little room in the math building at Purdue, a huge
Technology school.
and said, I heard you have something called electronic mail.
Yeah.
And
You've got mail.
Graduate students have piles of books and everything, and they're like, fill out this form. You weren't
Email,
just given an email. You had to go
Right.
seek it out. And we would email each other, my high school friends and I would at that point. And when we all graduated from college, I took all those emails and made a book out of them.
Oh, you actually printed them off?
Yes, and then gave them to everybody for a graduation present because it really showed like all of our funny jokes, and everyone would say, "Oh, I just failed this exam," and we were like, encouraging each other, and no one really failed.
And that was
stuff.
high tech. And I mean, take your kids for instance; they don't even know a world without email.
Well, they hardly use email.
Yeah, they
it's just
text.
texting.
Yeah.
So pen pals, I think, are fantastic.
I bet some of our listeners have had a pen pal or like to. Who doesn't still though like to get a letter or a card with a little note in it?
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. And even in spite
And I
of
like
all
to
the ways we
send
can
them.
communicate. Yep.
My college roommate's mom was the best at sending cards. She would just write like we're having a conversation. Well, I worked on the bathroom today and da-da-da. And then she would send like little clippings from the Hagerstown Exponent newspaper, which is a tiny little town in East Indiana, to us of stuff we just thought would be interesting. They were the best.
That reminds me of like of having a diary and writing in it every day, like what you did that day.
My friend Susan's mom wrote her a letter every day she was in college.
Oh my gosh, that's a commitment.
Can you imagine?
No, I cannot. I've had a daughter in college and she did not get a letter every day.
I mean, I just think all that stuff's amazing. Now, again, we just text, and so...
Is there something impersonal about, like, what's the difference between, like, getting that letter that you can hold onto and open up and just getting on your computer and popping open an email?
3 days. I mean, honestly, I think it's a time thing in a way.
It is.
I remember Dave and I started dating right before he graduated from Duke, and I still had another 4 semesters left. But he graduated, and then he went to Europe for 5 weeks, and this was before cell phones. We did have email, but you'd have to go to an internet cafe and pay money to use And so we wrote letters back and forth. He would write me from Europe, and I would send return letters to his mailbox in Durham, North Carolina. And then when he got home from his 5 weeks, his mailbox was crammed. And this was also 6 weeks into our love affair.
Oh, okay.
So you can
there
imagine.
was lots to talk about.
Those letters, though, are so precious to me. Like, if God forbid a fire would happen at our house, that would be one of the first things I'd grab.
Yeah.
Because we were telling each other how much we thought each other was great.
I'm glad that you still have them. That's cool.
So, our kids would probably think they're gross, but
oh well,
we loved them.
Yeah, and you still do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is hard to know, like, how much social media is it? How much do you push on that, and how much do we try to?
Yeah, Seth was talking about us being mediated, so that how the media has sort of crafted the way that we are with each other, or the way we think we need to be with each other, which is sometimes inauthentic and not vulnerable.
Right. It always comes back to vulnerability.
Yeah.
This podcast should be called You Better Get Vulnerable.
I was thinking that too. I wrote that when I was listening to the sermon in my notes, like there's this thread of vulnerability, right?
So last week it was the authority versus vulnerability. And really what I think social media has done is it makes some people think they can say anything.
Yeah. Well, and things that they probably wouldn't be courageous enough to say to the person, or be in the same sort of exchange with. I think it's great for us to disagree and put forward our ideas and share why we think what we're thinking. But when you do that face-to-face, it's a lot different than I just type out what I'm thinking and I walk away, and then, when it's convenient for me, then I re-engage with you, as opposed to us having this back and forth.
Yeah, I think what happens for me with social media is people feel courageous behind a keyboard, not always compassionate. So they may feel courageous. And then what it does is you think you're really connecting with other people, but it feels like we are less and less neighborly in that process.
We objectify each other, I think.
Yes, and we also run into our tribes. So, if someone, the number of times I hear on Facebook, I've read on Facebook people saying, it's that time of year again, I just can't do it. If you don't agree with me, I'm unfriending you.
What?
Well,
that's what we go from, it's that time of year again, I just can't do it, to I don't want to be your friend if you can't get me.
I'm unfriending you if you can't think the same way I do. And it's almost like I told someone the other day, I miss the days where you didn't talk about money or politics in public. I miss those days in a way, because I could sit with someone who maybe didn't vote the same way I did, but loves the same TV shows.
Right.
There's so much other stuff to talk about, but instead it's like...
way more other stuff to talk about.
Oh, and now there's your top couple things that can divide people that for some reason we all have decided we have to be aligned on. In order to be around each other. Yeah.
And I almost feel like I'm at a deficit in this conversation in a way, because I never really participated in social media, even Facebook, very much at all. I can remember Byron saying, my aunt told you happy birthday on Facebook. And I'm like, okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. That's nice. But if she really knew me, she would know that that's not how to tell me happy birthday, because I'm likely not signing on to Facebook more than, once every couple of months.
Well, it's funny. I get memories on Facebook, 11 years ago, when I used to share about the kids. But this was back before Facebook became this behemoth.
Yeah, right.
But I remember when I quit sharing personal stuff, it was because being at St. Luke's it's a larger congregation, and people was people were friends with me on Facebook that I maybe didn't know real well.
Yeah, right.
But someone came up to Margaret on a Sunday morning when she was maybe 6 or 7 years old and said, "It looked like you had the best time at Disney." And later she said to me, someone said to, she repeated the conversation and she said, "I didn't know her. How did she know we were at Disney?" And I said, "Well, she probably saw a picture that I posted on Facebook of us down there." And she said, "I didn't like that."
Oh, yeah. From the mouths of babes, right?
And so I mean, so if people look at my Facebook page, I don't put a ton of personal stuff on there.
Yeah.
Still to this day, because it made Margaret feel so uncomfortable, and I forgot people recognize her without her knowing who they are.
And it allows people to feel like they have a kind of familiarity with you that they do not, right? When you're in a public-facing role, like we were at St. Luke's, people believe that people assign some celebrity to you.
Yes.
And so they think that they know lots of things about you, or because they see you every Sunday, that they really know you. And that can be dicey, especially for kids.
Right. So I do see how it can really help draw people together. I mean, I think one of the cool things that it has done is it's helped me be back in touch with people I was really good friends with, like in elementary school. I feel like I've done kind of a full circle. But at the same time, it also puts you in touch with people that you knew from elementary school.
Right. And remind you of how long ago that was, right? Yeah.
So, that can be hard. So it's hard to know, like, how do you do community with each other? The other thing is, my first high school reunion, like my 5-year one, was before Facebook. But my 10-year reunion was after Facebook. And the conversations with people between those 5 years were totally different, because some people I'd be like, "Oh, now I haven't seen this person since I graduated from high school," but I ask them, like, "How was your trip to Colorado?"
Oh, yeah.
It's so inauthentic, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't really.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, to sort of come full circle, that is what Seth was talking about, is having this authentic relationship with the God who decided to be face to face with us, to incarnate and actually be with us and in relationship with us from the beginning.
In some ways, it is like writing letters. When you write a letter, you're more intentional and you pause and you take a breath to really think about what you want to say.
Yeah.
Even if you type a letter, it's just like muscle memory. You're kind of just saying. It's sort of like that same thing when we get into a relationship with God. Are we being intentional? Are we pausing? Are we taking a breath? Or are we just using muscle memory in that relationship as well? So it's, it's all part of the process of, I think, is who do we want to be to one another?
Yeah, and I think we have to live in this tension of how we do that, and how much of it is not face to face and how much of it is, and what is real for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I have some stuff to think about.
I do too. So
my fear of just totally getting off is that I would miss the few people that I have reconnected with, of how I would stay in touch with them.
I think it's certainly how you use it is up to you, and it can be fluid, and so you don't have to. You can change the way you want to use it whenever you want to.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
How quickly we just slid into therapy.
I knew you were going to say that.
She's tricky.
So that means it's time to go for this week.
It is time to go.
And we will see everyone
next time.
What
is today? Today is the 7th.
The 8th.
8th. Today's the 8th. So this Sunday, if anyone does listen to this before this Sunday, we are going downtown on the east side of Indianapolis. Dave and I and a few others from the congregation have been teaching English to a Haitian community down there. And last week it was cold and rainy, and we noticed that some of our friends could probably use a warm coat.
Oh, okay.
So if anybody that's listening before the 12th, December 12th, has a coat or wants to pick one up, just bring it here to the church, to the main office, and we'll make sure that someone gets that this Sunday.
Do we need adult and children?
Adult and children, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Mostly adults.
Okay, all right, cool.
So, got that in real quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good at that. That's okay. All right. We will see everyone next time.
All right, have a great week.
Bye-bye.